trying to set up. Oh, sorry. So what I'm doing today is trying to set up Godot. I've not programmed really in Godot before. Matter of fact, let me close this out and start a new project because I just want to learn Godot. I'm developed in Unity, and I really am just looking to learn this new editor, learn how to do things. And since I've taught before, let's yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Um, let's stop and like if you're watching a live stream, then yeah, that's gonna all be on there. But let's um, transition. Let's go here and um, clear off all of this other stuff that's on my screen real quick. No reason to have all that out there. I don't even know what that is. I can't close that. Quicken. Save. Finish. Yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff going on there that don't necessarily need to be out there and actually start to do something. All right, let's put this up here. Okay, and I'll switch back. All right, here we go. Transition. All right. So basically, I'm gonna start a new thing. RTFN, RTFM UI, all that good stuff. I need to create a folder. Okay, and now, okay, creating edit. Like I'm doing this pretty much blind. I haven't really done anything in Godot this whole time. So um, let's see. So if we're gonna RTFM, let's go over here and look at the manual. So let's see. I want to create a UI, but they're saying getting started is probably where I should start. So do I want to do all of this? I don't know. I just want to I would really like to build a user interface. So user interface building blocks. Like everything else in Godot, the user interface is built using nodes, special control nodes. Typical content is skinning and theme, pages in the section, introduction to GUI skinning. Here's an example of this system in action. A game with the GUI. It is radically different from the default UI of the theme engine. Beyond achieving a unique look for your game, this system also enables developers to provide customization and options to the end users. That's good. The skinning system is driven by the theme resource. Godot project, Godot project has an inherent default theme that contains the settings used by the built-in control nodes. So it gives the controls their distinct look out of the box. A theme only describes the configuration, however, and it is the job of each able to use that configuration in the way that it requires to display itself. It's important to remember when implementing your own custom controls. Probably need to come back to that at some point. So theme items, you have the color, the constant font size, theme type, font color, The default Godot theme comes with multiple themes that are already defined. One of every built-in control node that uses UI skinning. I didn't start the recording yet. Um, the default Godot theme comes with multiple for every built-in control node that uses UI scanning. The example above contains the actual theme items present in the default theme and refer to theme properties section in the print for each control to see which items are available to it in its classes. So this is the above theme. Oh, we're talking about this gear up theme. Hmm. So hmm, this is all really interesting. I was going to read it all out loud, but it's a lot, and I'm kind of skimming through it because I want to get to where I'm actually implementing and doing it, but because I only want to spend about a half hour or so today, just kind of getting used to this and getting all into the editor. And oh, shoot, did I not do the transition? So I'm reading this stuff and so let me go back. This is the manual page, and yeah, I just want to. I think I'm going to use the tutorial to kind of jump in this control node tutorial. Well, no, that's not it. So is that the control node? Is that introduction, theme type variation using specific control nodes? So let's just see. But essentially, what I'm trying to do is show, like, just get started. And I'd like to make basically a splash page for whatever game I'm going to make. I don't know what I'm going to make, but basically a landing page or a startup page where you can select the menu and start the game. Figure that should at least give me some of how the editor works. Because I know how I do it in Unity, but I have no clue how I do it in here. Everything is weird. Like I figure I would just, if I'm being honest, my thought would be that I just create a 3D user interface and or a 2D user interface. Um, like do a 2D scene as a root node, and then add some UI elements, which it looks like maybe a canvas layer, but I don't know that that's it. So, does the node 2D, does it have GUI? Hmm. It says on the RTFM, but I'm also, see, label nodes are great for displaying basic text. So let's see if we can find a label node. Where are the label nodes? Mm, I don't know what BB code is either. So let's go back to these UI building blocks. So yeah, buttons, labels, line edit, text edit. Um, we put something. So let's do a button. Since I want to do a start, this inherits from there. Need to switch back over. So look at the docs. What in the world? It's not transitioning to what I wanted to transition to. I have docs selected, hit docs, and it's not showing me the docs. just keeps going back to main. Hmm. What if I just switch out of this and go to the regular editor, turn that off? Hopefully now the docs are showing, and maybe if I just switch between that and this, yeah. So there's main, there's docs. I don't know why that other thing wasn't working, but it's a standard themed button, and it'll. And so I sounds like I will need to work on a theme at some point, but to start with, I need to start with a button. So let's find a button. So there are no buttons under here in these nodes. But what if I search? Okay, so we have a control. Oh, okay. So you have a button. And that's the base button. Buttons do not interpret touch input and therefore do not support multi-touch since mouth emulation can only push one button at a time. Use touchscreen button for, okay, so again, just doing something basic. So let's give this the button. Do I need to zoom in? So that's the button there. And we can use this to make it wider. We can give it some text. Start game. All right. And then start game. Um, and it's a basic button. It has no behavior. Um, see, it's got properties, which are over here. And it says it needs a assigning an action when press the code. So add a script to that. It says attach a new or existing script to the selected node. So I have it selected. I click the button. Um, let's call it start button. Hmm. I don't know what any of this means, and whatever. Create, and then in the manual, this is what it shows us. So let me do a side by side so you see both. All right, so saying that extends button, and then we do func ready. Also not used to GD script. I'm C sharp, Java, JavaScript, TypeScript. This is all new to me. Var button equals button dot new button dot text. Is this gonna overwrite what I have there? It says click me, so let's just try that. Click me, see what happens. Button dot pressed dot connect self dot underscore button underscore press. And this is add child, and that's gonna be button. Is that because that's the name of it and I've called it uppercase button? What happens if I change that? So if I change this name, rename, and rename it to lowercase button, does that change this here? What options I get? No. So It's saying lowercase. Oh, that's this here. Okay. Just trying to figure out what goes to what. But that's the button I referenced earlier. And that's this button here. Okay. And then we want to do, let's go back, funk, button press, because we called that up there. And then we want to print. Oh, went over too far. Print hello world. Because that should do all of that. Let's save. Ugh. Cancel. Um, I want to save. Okay. But it's saying it's unsaved. Oh, because the scene's not saved. So let's do this as main or UI main, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what's going to make sense. So kind of just naming stuff and doing stuff and hoping that things work out. All right. So did that. And then they say if you push this play button over here, it will run the scene. And it didn't do anything. Is this attached to that? It looks like it. Looks like it is. But I'm getting an error. Expected end of statement after expression 49. What did I leave out? Not new. Oh, huh, typo. Because of course it is. Okay, now stop. Play. Okay, that's running. Click me. Well, there's two buttons. Oh, okay. That does work. But that's not attached to my button, is it? Because my button is there. And no, no. Why can't I see the 2D anymore? So this is here. Like, are they two different buttons? That would be interesting. Let's see. No, that's still the same. Like, that's a different button there. Start game is a different button. So if I delete this, or just hide, let me hide that button. Now play. I mean, it's great if I can generate it from code. I ain't gonna be mad at that. But now it's not there. So now I'm really confused. Um, hmm. Oh, well, probably would have to be on, but this script is attached to this button. So if and this is what we got going on. So why is it showing two bits of text here? Like I would think it would overwrite the text if I changed it, but it looks like it's two different buttons, and this one is not getting that. So let's just see. I keep pushing the wrong button. It's this one here. Shortcut Command R. Okay. So, see, it's almost like this is spawning it. Like, what would happen if I created another? Again, this is me. Oh, okay. So in the script, I need to not do that. I need to Yeah, I'm instantiating a new button. So this button doesn't need to be, so either instantiate a button or not use the script on an actual button. I'm thinking is what needs to happen. Let's try, let's try not creating anything but the node itself. So just a node. Let's put this script on this node. Um, let's see, attach script. And where is the, oh, you know what? I can probably just do that from here. Start button. And let's drag that to here. So now that would technically create a button. Let's hide this one and push play or nothing. Oh, because it's not anything. I need to at least give it something. And what is a button made up of? It is made up of, let's see, add child node, or let's remove that. We'll delete that node. Let's create a new node. And so it's a control. So let's give it a control. And now let's drag this up to here. Oh, sorry. I can, let me make that bigger. So it's just going to try this as, instead of a button, just as a control that then generates the button. Because I'm, again, coming from Unity, so this is all working differently. It's inherits from button, so the button needs to be there. So why would I instantiate a button? Again, I'm looking at the tutorial, or not the tutorial, but the documentation, and it is saying that this code is an example of creating a button. I thought you would put that script onto a button or onto a base button because it says see also base button, which contains properties and methods associated with this code. So I guess let me click on here for a base button. Script needs to extend the node type that it's on. Okay, so can you do both? Or just extends control? All right. Okay, there it is. Thank you. Yep. Okay, so it doesn't need to be a base button, it would need to be a base control. And then this wouldn't need to do anything. And so instead of change this to start game, change this, and then that would work. Okay, it's a decent place to start. Um, what was that? Start game and game started. Okay, cool. Now the question would be if I did that, you would, let's delete that button node for now because the control will make a button and we can call this rename as, the question is how do you now make that node actually appear in the game, because it is at this point it's just appearing right where the node is, but the node only has a position of, let's see, this node doesn't have a control parent, and So it looks like I need to find out more about, go back in here, user interface, and read up more on this user interface. Because, like everything else in Godot, the user interface is built using nodes, specifically control nodes. There are many different types of simplicity. So, this control node is what controls the button. Um, so, see more about these control nodes. Okay, that makes sense. So normally you create code, a button, and the rest of the UI in the editor for procedural stuff, you create buttons from code. So I wonder why they give that example for how to create a button then, because when I go back to the just basically a button, that's the first thing it tells you about making a button. Now I'm guessing they're assuming that you know that this is procedural and not like how you get a button to work. Um, And I guess that would mean I would need to, if I was to do this a different way, let's not do that now. Let's go back and create the button the other way. So create a base button, not as a child, but as its own thing. We're going to have it as button two. And we want to add the start button script to it. And then this time, instead, let's do on the start button, let's not instantiate. So let's not create a new button. Yeah, this is probably why it would be better to use a tutorial, but I'm like, I want to learn from the docs. I was thinking that maybe not using a tutorial, just using the docs, I could figure things out. Seems a little verbose, but it's all good. So would it be this? I'm also not quite used to, or is it self? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this language works. I know if this is instantiating the button, or I just do self button press. Hmm. Not sure how the script is going to work in this language. I know I would need to name it, so that's all that is out. But I just do, well, we're not adding a child though. So I wouldn't do that. Just let's not add a child. Huh. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this because we can give self text. So let me just try this again. Not completely clear, but what if I do, so self is not well, self is a possibility. Okay. And then do self that, don't add a child. So let's comment that out or just delete it. And what the hell? Let's see. Mm, invalid the value of string. So how do I access the button properties? Or would it be big button? That might be it. Cannot find member button pressed. Of course you can. Or would that still be self? Yeah, that'd still be self button pressed. Okay, so just figuring out how that makes sense. That makes sense. And so this would need to let's lose the script. Or actually I can get rid of this. I don't need it anymore. All right. And now. Oh, you're looking at the docs. I'm slow. Like I keep forgetting that this needs to come over. So sends from button. Um, set invalid button with value type of string. But if I'm looking at this button here, this has text. That's from button. That comes from there. So is that even a possibility? That's awesome. What you and the family got planned today? Um, see, how do I get to the text property? Oh, that is how I get to the text property. I was just doing control before. All right. So, yeah. Yeah, me and my daughter supposed to be. There we go. That worked. And clicking the button does absolutely nothing, but at least the button shows up. Um, it shows up. The click is not doing anything. Um, but if button pressed, connect. Oh, so would that be, that would seem wrong. Self pressed, connect. Self dot button pressed. Yeah, me and my daughter are about to go over and have breakfast with the rest of our family and then maybe go to a water park or something today. Can I convert arguments from nil to calibrate? Yeah, well, of course, that I didn't think that made sense. I just was doing it because it seemed like that's what this was wanting to do. Self press connect or button press connect. I'm not on anything. I just want this to run. Okay, so there it is. Oh, there it is. So that did work. I'm guessing in Europe. You're in Europe. All right, game started. So that's how you do a button. I that seems to make sense. I can get behind that. Eastern Europe. I used to live in Germany from about 2000 to 2004. I was stationed in Heidelberg. Um, Loved it. I know that's more Western Europe, but um, like I got to travel to um, Czech, the Czech Republic, Poland. Um, it was it was definitely I love my time in Europe. It was the food there is amazing. The people are amazing, very helpful, very patient with an American trying to struggle with different languages. But it's cool. Um, let's see. So we got that. So if I did this, this would be any button. If I did it like this, anytime I created a button, I could do this and it would this. I wonder if I could get it to use its name here. So if I gave it a name of rename, okay, yeah, I was definitely went to Norway, so Scandinavia. I haven't been to Finland though, and I know the countryside there is beautiful. Start. So if I did that, oh, probably need to, yeah, this start button. How can I get it to? Can I get it to what all comes under self? Um, I want it to hmm, because if I could give it the name of, oh yeah, I know it's bad. I remember when we were in Norway because I was in the army, so we were we were doing a mission as a NATO mission, but we were out there in tents in the snow for about 2 weeks. It was brutal. Like I've never seen it snow that much in my life, or at least at that point in my life, I'd never seen that it snowed that much. And the snow was so deep, we had to pitch our tents on top of the snow. Like we packed down the snow hard and then just built our tents on top of it, slept fully clothed in our sleeping bags, changed clothes in our sleeping bags, all of that. It was interesting. Text equals name. That's it. Huh. And then that would give it, so I have it as button two now. So if I did that and push play, that would work. That's awesome. This, this. I think I just learned a lot about the engine and how, like, because if I can take the name of a property here and then just drop this on, like, it's a basic button function, I can see how I could expand that. Probably not practically, but it gives me like ways to just say if I name it here, I can pull its name out here and use it so I can reuse my script. I can make my script more flexible, um, especially if I'm having buttons that do similar things. Like if you have, level one, it needs to go to level one, stuff like that. This that's interesting. I think I like that. Um, because then I could also do print. And yeah, that was good. I like that. Um, Let me make sure I have this thing set up in Git though, because I want to also make sure that before I leave out for the day, that I am using this or I can get back to this code from wherever I am. So let me do that real quick. Um, version control, version control settings, install a VCS plugin to use VCS integration features. Maybe I did that on a different computer because I remember setting up a VCS stuff. Um, let's see. Version control metadata existing. Okay, that's fine. And so let's figure out how to get the VCS plugin for Godot. VCS plugin. And I guess I need to switch this over to dock screen. Um, version control system. Documentation on how to use the Git plugin can be found there. Um, oh yeah, I would. That's what I would normally do. Is just do that. But where do I get the plugin? You find the latest release on, and let's go here to get the Git plugin. Have Git installed, Godot asset library, or use the manual process listed below. macOS users may need to use a one-time workaround here. Again, I feel like I did this already though. Um, so let's see if I can just download it from the asset library. Change with websites. Okay. Allow. It's downloaded. Um, I feel like I did this a different way the last time, but I was just playing around with it. So I wasn't really playing or getting to know what actually happens. So there's the Godot plugin as an add-on, but how do I add it? I guess maybe just that's for Windows, for Mac OS. Why do I feel like strap the good contents to add-on directory of your Godot project? Oh, okay. So this needs to be extracted. Okay, so that's there. This needs to come out and it needs to go into the add-ons folder. Res add-ons, Godot Git plugin. Okay, so this needs to be here. I thought I just did that, but let's see if that worked. So now version control settings. Perfect. Okay. Well, I would normally use, actually, let me just do that. I can if I can open this in my editor, see Godot documents. I should have a Godot folder right here. Um, projects. That isn't where I thought I installed this. Where did I install this? Where am I working on this at? The file system is, where am I working on this folder at? Scene. Let's see where I'm at. I don't know where the heck I am. Huh. And I would have thought this would have, oh, there we go. Showing file manager. There we go. So I need to be in this root folder here. Let me go ahead and open this into, oh, well, that is a terrible place to save that. But should be able to at least open up my terminal. Do I not have Terminal 2 installed? Or iTerm? Remind me later. I don't want to do that on stream. All right, and so where am I? All right, so yeah, that is a terrible place for that. And looks like I'm already there. I just need to connect to my Git. So it's already initialized for Git, but it's not a part of my, what you call it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's do this. Actually, I can do a commit now and just call it a day. Or I can use source tree, connect it to source tree, and then I can connect it to my. So, oh, we don't want to commit. Let's open a different project. This is not the project that I want. So repository, um, I'll try this here and here. Probably need to see this and look at files and grab that git ignore. Yeah, that'll work. And let's open that back up in Godot because it should just be able to add it here, right? Oh, it won't let me do that in there. Okay, that's fun. That's good to know. Cannot create the git ignore stuff in there, which is fine. I guess I'll just call up VS Code. It's all fun. Open, has to trust the authors, and now I need a new folder, new file. Oh, there's a git ignore in there already. Okay, let's do this. And paste that in there. So yeah, that's much better. And that should clear up everything as far as when we're going to save. Should only be these things now. Um, don't have a remote, but I can fix all of that. I just want to be able to make my commit right now. So let's update this with all of these and initial commit first button. Can't publish a branch, but that should at least get me saved, and then I can keep working on this when I come back. Um, I can actually add some notes in here too, because okay, so we use hashtags in this for notes. What do they call this in the manual? Oh, I swear I keep forgetting to switch over. Um, so in the manual, though, it was saying that this is, it extends from the base button. So this is the base button. And I'm working on this from this page. Actually, just do this and from here. That editor's not smart enough, but the other one will. I'm looking forward to playing around with this some more because I feel like this is very easy to understand. Clean that up some because I don't need that. That's only to instantiate a button, and I'm not an instantiate a button. Just do that. I would hate to have to do this for every button, though. I would like it to have some automatic functions or at least to know. So let me just add that in. I probably spelled that wrong, but this code uses the name from the hierarchy. I could do something like if name is equal to print, print something else. I don't know. And that should work. Oh, shoot, cancel. I don't remember which play button to hit. Oh, okay. Need that. Apparently, that's important in this language. Okay. And then if let's create another button and I'll just duplicate that instead of it being start button two. Let's say, I don't necessarily like doing this. I would do it a different way. Um, exit button, then print game exited. And then that should work. Oh, well, they're on top of each other. But yeah, so I could use this and then use the names to do other functionality, and I only have to write the script once and use it everywhere. I don't like it, but well, I could do the functionality and functions as well. Yeah, shame I can't get the name to go over there as well, but start button, exit button, or start button, exit button, so they're not overlapping. Okay, yeah, that works. That there works. Um, and then I can have it go to levels and everything else, and I would just yeah, just easy. I would like to organize it a little bit better so that it's not dealing with switch statements or it's not dealing with if statements because that logic is hard. Um, well, can be processor intensive, at least in other languages that I've worked with. What I would probably want to do is to make it so that like do something where one we had different functions. So for like you do uh, start func with a bunch of stuff in here. I don't know. I guess move this here for now. And like even with this, I would want it to be a. I think I would want it to be an enum instead of. So I guess, but I guess these are working as enums at that point, then, right? But then I can break up my code and put it this here, take that out, put it here. We would just exit func. It would do that and basically essentially put our code in here so that. But again, wonder how you do switch statements in this language. The class reference. Um, GD script, concepts, annotations, description, um, testing. Um, Minutes. All right, my daughter's ready to go, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. But I wanted to know how, like, this is really cool. There's Mac. I pull up the documentation. Um, Remember, there's a button that you can push. Forget what it is though. Um, Control click, or is that command click on that? Is not. Yeah. F1 and search. I'm also in the docs in the other window, so I'm over here. Just go here and wow, is this remove case, remove any breaks. So you don't need a break. You don't need. Okay, so it just be match name and then and exit button, exit funk, and my guess is that should work. All right. Yeah, because I took that other stuff out. That was yeah, I took the other stuff out, so it should just be something else game exited. But yeah, thank you, Alpanka. I definitely need to make sure I follow. I like this because now I can put my button code in here, and hopefully, with some luck, I can actually create methods or classes that do things based off of this, and this just then pulls another class. I'm not sure how to do that in this language yet, but um, this looks like promising, at least from getting started with Godot. Because now, if I can put all my button functionality, maybe not into one script, but if this is instead of say the what was I calling this the start button, and I call it the main menu button, and then all the functionality for the main menu can go in here. I have all that logic in here under one button script instead of having to create a script for every button yet. But I could probably have some sounds or whatever that are generic that I can put in here that are button clicks for a generic button sound on the main menu. Um, but I'd probably even want to see if I could extend this further and make a general button class that has all the functionality for a general button, and then come back in here and do some things to fancy it up for whatever button is going to be pressed, to make it do the different things that it needs to do. So I can see the potential in this. Um, Definitely easier to understand this code than it is to understand like C sharp coming straight out of nowhere. I could see myself explaining this to my students a lot easier, though the manual, the documents could definitely they could definitely use some a little bit. I wouldn't say hand holding, but it's like it seems like it assumes you know things that you don't necessarily know. Like I'm coming in code. I've never used GD script really, like except for through a tutorial. I've never used Godot except for a couple tutorials. Like I'm very familiar with Unity, and because Unity uses C sharp, I'm I've been trained in C sharp. I've been trained in Java. Like I know what to expect there. This is kind of Python-ish, so not as familiar with Python. And then just understanding how this all works. So I think it's a good starting point for me to learn and to, yeah, way easier to get into it because like I understand what's happening here. Like I think some of the terminology in C sharp can be a bit verbose. It can be a bit like, oh, well, if you know, you know. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to do some tutorials, but I just figured like from a standpoint of I'm a professional software developer, I'm a game design graduate, game design professor, and I keep hearing about Godot. And so a lot of times at my job, we'll say RTFM, read the fucking manual, read the freaking manual. And that only works if the manual can actually help you. And some documentation, like the Java based documentation, is so hard to read, or even like Oracle documentation is hard as hell to read. But then there are other things like Unity's documentation. You can start with the Unity documentation and go straight through because it's written really well. And so I don't want to tell students or anybody else to go read the manual if I haven't read the manual. If I've just done tutorials, how do I know how it works? So yeah, and I noticed that you can go full C sharp with Godot, but I've also noticed you don't get all of the functionality. I kept seeing that there's some things that you can't do with C sharp that you can only do with GD script. And oh yeah, I'll check them out too. Killed by Dev, I'll definitely check them out because I do want to see what other and C sharp and TypeScript like every day is, yeah, there's some context switching there, but usually using the native language for things, you get more functionality. You can do more with it. And I've already seen just some people in YouTube videos talking about, oh, you can't do this in C sharp. You have to do it this way in GD script. And I've heard you can mix GD script and C sharp, but I can see the benefits of that, but I wonder what happens when you're like, can you call a class, a C sharp class from Godot or GD script? Can you call can GD script call a C sharp class? Like, if I'm using C sharp classes, do I get the whole Microsoft library or do I get some truncated version of that Microsoft C sharp library? Like, do I get all of .NET or not? Um, I'm curious to see what the answers to that are because there's some great things in .NET that I'm not sure if GD script has, but if I'm writing a game, I don't know if I need that. However, depending on how the crosstalks work, the games I want to develop deal with APIs, deal with live APIs, and I think those might be easier to hit using some .NET libraries if I'm allowed to use them. So it's like, and at this point, I'm barely getting a button to show up on screen. So starting there, and then um, over the next couple of weeks, like every day, I'm going to try to put in an hour or so into just learning this editor, learning the tool, and kind of going live and sharing with people. You know, one, it's for me to just get used to talking to the camera and talking through what I'm doing. But also, I have, I have some kids, and to show them that you can do anything as well, and you can start from scratch. If you truly want to do something, you start from scratch and you can figure it out, whether it's reading the manual, whether it's watching YouTube videos. But as long as you're willing to learn, the tools are out there. But um, my daughter is ready. I know she's hungry. I'm hungry. We need to get out here and get some breakfast, or I guess lunch at this point, and meet up with the rest of our family to get some stuff done today. So it's been a pleasure meeting you all. I'm going to definitely be following both of you all and looking to see what you all are doing on Twitch as well. And I hope to see you all again. Thank you all for joining the stream today. And thank you for coming. Same here. I procrastinate a lot too. It's taken me months to do what I'm doing right now. So this is my first one, but hopefully there should be more.